good on your end, Mike?
We're live.
All right.
Yay! Hello.
All right,
How we
guys.
doing, guys?
Welcome to this week's live. Um, we've got something a little bit different today, and especially going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I think this is a super. It's going to be a big topic and a big kind of, I guess, point of emphasis for a lot of coaches is thinking about or talking about how you can put together a deal or a discount or a sale for your coaching. So today we are going to talk about kind of what that looks like, how, when, and basically why you should or shouldn't discount, and kind of give our opinions on that whole idea. So I guess, Mike, you want to kind of kick us off on discounts and what that even means?
Yeah. So, this is a particular topic that a lot of coaches use and run with, and it's really, to me, more of a company thing, I think, than a coach thing. And let me explain what I mean by that is e-commerce brands run discounts or promos or things like that. I'm not as big on selling my time for less or
Agreed.
my program for less because I'm devaluing what it is I do, right? So, for example, Gucci doesn't run a sale, right? It might run a promotion of some degree, but they do not discount their product. So, there's a way to word things, right? So, on sale or discounted or a percentage off versus giving something of value to make it greater is a big difference. 25% off is a discount. You're discounting your services, which means if you'll do it now for 25%, why won't you do it tomorrow for 25%? That's
Yeah.
not fair. Versus if you join today, I'll give you an extra month for free. That's giving you my time, not discounting my service. There's a difference. Even though it's the same thing, it's how it's worded and how it's presented, right? So if I was to buy 5 months and got a month for free, it's a big difference than buying 6 months for the price of five. Even though it's the same thing, it's just about how it's worded. So it's really important with the wording and how you market yourself is that you're giving away value, not discounting the price. I don't want to say I'm collecting less money. I want to say I'm giving you more stuff. And whether that means that when you join today, I'm going to give you 2 recipe ebooks, that's value, versus 25% off my ebooks, that's discount, right? That's a big deal because we never want people to think Mike equals discount, right? We never want to think training equals less money or less than. Because the other thing that happens to that too is that when we're not giving away something of value, people then want to then get whatever they're currently on discounted. Like, well, I've been paying you for 2 years. Why don't I get a discount? So it becomes like a little bit of a hiccup situation. And I say that because, like, with e-commerce, right? So when I had my e-commerce store, one of the things we would do is we'd do like a Black Friday sale. And they'd be like, well, I just purchased yesterday. Can I get that same discount? And be like, I mean, yeah, let me refund you money to keep the customer happy versus be like, nope, you got to buy again, even though they just spent $100. So it's like, you don't want people to do that to your service because, well, it's a lot different for your time than it is a product like a coffee, right? So that's really the thing we need to understand when it comes to discounting. Now, the title of this is, the when, the why, and how we should essentially discount our high ticket coaching. So I don't think we necessarily ever use the word discount. What we do want to do is provide value. When should we add value to an offer? Well, one, you always should add value to an offer. However, you can add additional value in certain times or certain things. Typically, these are going to, evolve around whether it may be a holiday or a scholarship or the New Year's, Black Friday, typically a time where somebody expects to get a little bit more for their money. Now, that doesn't mean get the same thing for less money, right? 'Cause that's a discount, but more for their money. One of the things we did as an example is that, hey, when you buy 2 bags of coffee, I'll give you a free shirt. So that allowed me to add value versus a discount. Because some people are looking for discounts. And I also think whenever you provide a discount, it actually hurts your business. So I'll give you a great example. So I just had a one-on-one conversation with one of our clients. He does really well. Like, they're north of averaging between $60,000 to $80,000 a month. And they're like, hey, I want to do a Black Friday sale to where I'm going to do like, if you buy the year up front, I'm going to give you 40% off. And I was like, so just so I'm clear, you're going to sell the next 12 months of you and your team's time for 40% off so that you can collect some money right now that can just go sit in a bank that you're not going to use. And so now you're just going to discount your service so that you can just stockpile it from here to here. And nothing actually gets worked, or you actually don't need the money, right? So he was like, I mean, I guess. He's like, I just want to have a great month. I go, well, I don't want you to have a great month. I want you to build wealth. There's a big difference. So I was like, instead of you doing that, why don't you take everybody that is coming up on their paid in full, and instead of making them pay a year up front at 40% off, why don't you make them go into a subscription that's slightly discounted, or they're paid in full equaled the subscription. So for example, anybody that's their paid in full is ending in the next 90 days, reach out to them and say, hey, I want to offer you a Black Friday deal to where you don't have to pay in full. You can just pay monthly. And it will equal whatever you paid in full broke out into a monthly, so you don't have to, you're not penalized. So you don't have to pay me all up front. You don't have to pay my normal monthly rate, which is slightly higher. I'll give you that same discount or that same, value of those months, whatever, at a lower rate. This way you don't cut 40% off because they paid in full, which is technically already a discount, and then you're going to discount them more. So technically it's probably more like 65% off what you would normally charge if they just paid you monthly. So from there, it's like this route, you're going to make 65% more money over the next 12 months. And he was like, I guess I never really thought about that. And I was like, this is how you build more money, is you get people to get into a reoccurring. So for me, what I like to do is utilize the people that are coming up on my term length. Depending on how many clients you have, this makes a big difference. If you have 5 clients, it doesn't really hit as hard. But when you have 50 or 100, it does make a bigger difference as far as your reoccurring numbers. So I don't want to make a lot of money today. I want to make a lot of money this year. It makes a big difference in how we approach things. So that's a great example of a great time to give a discount to an individual. Also, that just breaks into how I would do it as well, right? Now, again, different scenarios, different people. You can do the same concept for Black Friday. Let's say, hey, if you buy 5 months up front, I'll give you 1 month free, right? Add value or add something to it. So for everybody that's new coming in, hey, if you sign up today, you will not only get this, but you're also going to get this, and this, right? Great example. Let's say in our company, if you signed up on mid-tier, I would coach you for free for X amount of days. I'm not discounting my product. I'm giving my time to you for free as a value add to joining, getting your funnel built out, right? We're giving something more. You also can do that same concept. Like if you have a lot of time, right? Realistically, you got to address, do you have time? If you're not making over 10,000, odds are you probably have enough time to give away some calls. So give those calls away. And then actually what that allows you to do is say, hey, I really like these calls. Do you want to continue these calls? And then you can upsell to them actually getting calls versus the program that they're currently on. So that's another great way to get people in, is you provide something basically for free and then we'll get them a taste of it and then move them forward, right? That's kind of the gist for me. On your end, Baker, what are some things on your end as far as like the when, how, and why on discounting and service?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head up front, which is kind of why we used almost like a clickbaity type of title like this, right? Is our kind of stance is really the opposite. We don't think that you should ever say like coaching sale, discounted coaching, come get like that should never be how you frame it. Okay? And if you look at our scholarship framework, if you look at our challenge framework, we put a lot of time into really thinking through each step of the process, the psychology of the prospects and the end users, the psychology of the whole purchasing timeline, and how we pitch that whole thing to make sure that we can't just say discounted coaching, apply for discounted coaching. We need to have a reason behind it. You need to have you know, I always talk about, around your birthday, run a scholarship. And it can be about your birthday or the company's birthday. I know a lot of coaches that run scholarships around this time of year, and it's like a Thanksgiving type of scholarship, like a give back. Um, you need to have a deeper reason for doing these things because people are getting numb to just discount culture in general. But to Mike's point, if you can discount something today, why couldn't you have discounted it yesterday? Why couldn't you discount it tomorrow? And especially, like people understand on a product side of things that there's a certain amount of cost that you as a business are paying for X amount of, that type of product. But on a service, it does end up being where do you draw the line? So if it is 25% discounted, why couldn't you do 30? And then they're like, oh, you actually could do 30. Well, what about 35? And then it just keeps going and going and going and
Right.
going. And it's just, where do you value yourself at that point? And that's such a subjective thing. It's not objective. It's not concrete. It's so subjective. So the second that you start letting people know that you can discount it, you kind of start to taint your image of as a coach of I'm the discount coach, right? And that's what people end up looking for. At the same in the same vein, if you do end up doing too many scholarships or too many discounts and sales of that nature, you also end up not drumming up any business unless you're doing one of those things. And so that can kind of kick yourself. I know, Mike, we've seen companies in the e-commerce space that ran too many big sales in a row, back to back, and completely killed their reach and their products and their
Yeah.
recurring because they just discounted themselves into the ground and got known as a discount brand. So
Hmm.
all their customers are just waiting for the next big discount, and they
Waiting
know
for the
there's always going to
discount.
be one. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of my 2 cents on it as well. Is that a lot of helpful reframes is if you can do it inside of a scholarship or inside of some other reason or big push, like build a story into it, put some actual time into why you're doing this thing. That works really well. And then also making sure that they know, almost reframing as like, I'm covering this for you. So like Mike's talking about adding in extra maybe check-in calls or free value as far as adding in some of your time to the current offer to make it, a special and a limited time offer. That allows you to say like, I'm going to cover, my portion of one-on-one coaching. People typically pay this for it. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in and cover that for you so that we can really get a lot of progress done in this first 60 days. And that feels like you're making a sacrifice for that person to add that value and to help them get further faster.
Hmm.
So I like that approach of they need to know that this does hurt you or this does come at some sort of a cost to you because they don't take that for granted. Whereas if you just say, yeah, instead of 300 a month, it's going to be 225 for today only. And then like Mike said, you just have so many other problems that arise of, well, could you do 200? Or your other clients going like, I want 225. Can I downsell myself? And
Dude, that happens so often
so often.
because it's like, again, it's like it's much easier for me to somebody's like, hey, I need to have a call. Like, sure, let's get on one. Like, hey, just saw you're giving away 2 free calls. Yeah, I have no problem doing that for you. Versus like, hey, turn my subscription down $75 like you're doing for everybody else. It's like, dang, like we just lost money, not time but money,
Yep.
because I could have took 2 calls for $35 a call.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Versus like now I just lost all this money every single month over and over and over and over because I did a discount versus the value add.
Yeah, you were trying to raise your recurring revenue and you ended up lowering it because everybody else on average lowered their lowered their rate. And you
Yes.
can't say no because then somebody's like, "Are you really going to make me cancel my subscription right now so that I can re-sign up with you to get that rate?
That's
Or
right.
what are we
That's
doing
right.
here?" Like you can't say no. So, Felicity, what's your take on discounts?
Yeah, I think you guys both again hit the nail right on the head. It's 100% right. Like Baker, what you were talking about, you both were talking about is like the value aspect. It's like you give someone an inch and they take a mile, and it's like where does the line get crossed? Like what is your floor? Like what is that? One thing that I do want to pull out from what you were talking about, Mike, in the beginning, that might redirect the conversation a little bit, but I think it's also still important to touch on. You were talking about how there's a decision that needs to be made. It's like, do we need a quick cash injection, like going into this next season where people are more susceptible to buy for things? Do we need a quick cash injection, or do we need to build wealth utilizing these systems when it comes to scholarships and challenges and giving people more value? Because you're probably going to have more clients, especially going into the season, especially around the new year. Like, there's a lot of different opportunities now. Similar to like 2 weeks ago, we had Bradley on. He was talking about he built his business on the quick cash injections, like doing all the paid in fulls. And now he kind of bit himself in the butt in a sense of, all right, so now he has to redo everything what he was discussing about and build wealth rather than just doing quick cash injections. So keep that in mind while you guys are going into the season of, do I need more so the PIFs and we can add value to the PIFs in a sense of like, let me give you a month for free on me or give you some extra calls, or do we need to build that monthly recurring?
Absolutely. All right. Anybody have anything else they want to add on as far as discounts or maybe even how we suggest that coaches approach it later this month?
I think what needs to happen is for a lot of coaches, there needs to be a plan in place. Okay. Now, does that mean that I don't think PIPs are great? No, I think people need to do PIPs. And the truth is that if you're not doing 10K a month, you need to do PIFs so that you can get your revenue up as high as possible because money solves a lot of problems. However, if you're paying your bills, do not go in and undercut the people that are paying you so that you can get more money today because that just means you're going to be broke tomorrow. And the truth is that if you don't have any money in your bank account to pay your bills for the next 90 days, I need you to have steady money, not discounted money. See, I always try not to focus on what's my total revenue for the month, but look at my life. Look at my lifestyle. Am I trying to build something to where it's like I cut off 3 grand to make 10, but I don't have very good money management, which means I'm just going to go spend it all anyway. And then now I have discounted clients that are no longer paying me monthly because they paid up front and I just cut the head off of my entire business versus, hey, I'm not great at money management. So I need to stop collecting as much. And I actually need to go to a reoccurring model so that I can actually make less money so that I can get better at money management. But then I also know that all my bills are paid so that I can go back to then selling PIFs once my bills are paid so that I can then grow the company more with that money to then get more reoccurring. So sometimes it's not about the total dollar amount. It's about the business in which we're trying to build. A lot of new coaches on here are like, yeah, man, I just want to make all the money. Of course you do. You've never made any before. Your main focus is growing money. But for everybody else, the main issue is not making money. It's running a sustainable business. Sustainable is being the key word.
Yeah.
Because the difference is that I talked to somebody yesterday, right? $41,000 last month in revenue. One person reoccurring payment. Today is November 1st. You've made $0 this month. So the question becomes is, would you rather have a $10,000 month this month and a $50,000 next month and then a 40 and then a 20 and then a 30, all averaging at 30K a month? Or would you rather have 30K a month consistently for the next 6 months? See, with 30K consistently or 5K consistently, whatever that number is, You know how much money you have coming in, which then allows you to hire people, understand what your bills are, be able to have people help you get the right systems in place, because it's not feast or famine, it's consistency. Consistency leads to less stress. Well, as a business owner, the less stress we have, the better sleep we get. The better sleep we get, the better decisions we make. Better decisions and better sleep and lower cortisol, the better life we have as an entrepreneur. Like, I don't have this gray hair because I had this from the beginning. I have this gray hair because I did not do the things right the first time go around. And so I basically sacrificed a little bit of top line revenue to build a sustainable company that allows. A few weeks ago, Felicity be in Costa Rica, Baker be in Vegas, and me be out of the country, or I can't remember where I was. And we still made the same money because I didn't have to have a sales call, because I have a reoccurring business model and all clients were taken care of. Everything was harmonious. And for right now, if you're the coach that says, I can't go on vacation because that means I make no money, do you have a business? Because you sound like an in-person trainer who just makes a lot per hour. So you actually don't have a business. A business is something that's sustainable. You're just making money. Big difference. You want to build that up. So if you don't have the reoccurring, make your discounts, if you would, your offer this holiday season going into that route of building the business. If you have all those things established, do not discount your products, add more value to your products so that you can make more money, or the same money that you would, you're just giving up either more time or you're giving up more things to that individual. Now, great companies, great minds thinking is like, what can I give that doesn't cost me money? That's the secret. Now, other things cost money, right? Like, hey, you sign up and I'm going to give you a shaker cup. Costs me money. Now, the question becomes is how much money you're willing to spend to give to that client, right? So don't go out and buy a bunch of t-shirts to give them to your clients. That's not essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, can we give something of value, like an ebook or a digital item or our time or maybe an employee's time, so that we can collect the same amount of money without it being discounted, but getting the person to actually move forward with your company or pay for many months up front, right? That's going to be the secret for those already having a successful business. If you do not have a successful business, as in you don't have reoccurring revenue, not that you're not successful, but this is what I'm defining as successful for these people, is that if you don't have reoccurring revenue, focus on how can you get people to go into a reoccurring revenue model.
Yep.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't seen the live from 2 weeks ago with Bradley, you can kind of hear a little bit more about his story and what Felicity kind of alluded to earlier. But to give you guys an idea, he was seeing swings of upwards of $125,000 in a month, down to $20,000 to $30,000 in the next month. And you know, we can all talk about that being first world problems. Like, yeah, it would be sick for all of us to make that in just 1 month, and that would be cool, right? But if your overhead is above that 20, and you're trying to make sure that you're good for the next month or the next month, or you just had a $20,000 a month the previous month behind that, then a good chunk of that 125's got to go to last month paying the bills, and then a good chunk of it's got to go to next month making sure you can pay the bills. And so it's that type of a swing, like Mike said, it just breeds another level of anxiety and stress. And we want you guys to have predictable, sustainable, reliable income each and every month moving forward. So I think we might have lost Mike, so I think that's probably a good time to wrap it up here. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're seeing it grow every week. We're posting more and more stuff on YouTube every single day. So we hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you hit that notification bell, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.